I have a bit of a confession to make today. Sometimes I really struggle with prayer. There, I've said it. I've been a student of prayer. I pray and I'm a student of prayer, and in all the books that I have on my shelves at home, they're more on prayer than perhaps anything else. And yet when it comes to prayer, sometimes there are just no words. Sometimes there's long periods of silence, and sometimes I just go through periods of listening. But I've discovered as well that I'm not alone in all of this. I've read the journals of Mother Teresa, and she went through years and years and years of darkness, of silence of God, of struggling with prayer. And she came to a place in her prayer life where she said, well, if Jesus is in me, then I'll let him pray to the Father for me. If I can't speak, he'll speak. If I can't pray, he'll pray. I like that. And that's why sometimes I come to this place here. When I come here, words aren't necessary. The ocean, the birds that are flying, the bushes, the rocks, they all cry out with the glory and the majesty of God, and I don't have to worry. I find God in the silence. Elizabeth Barrett Browning once wrote, "Earth is crammed with heaven, and earth every common bush afire with God." And those who see, they take off their shoes, while everyone else, they sit around and pluck blackberries. In other words, that this is not a common place, that this place speaks of the glory of God in the common and in the ordinary. This may be common and ordinary to some, but for me it's a sacred place, and the glory of God is revealed here. And in all of this, I believe that somehow that the Jesus in me is praying to the Father, and I get to experience him somehow in the silence. But I can't stay here. Somehow I have to leave this place. Oh, that I would love to be able to stay in places like this. But I have to leave this place, and I have to go back to other places. And I think sometimes it's in the silence, and I know it's in the silence of the common, the ordinary, the mundane, that I'm learning that God speaks so loudly in those places as well. As Paul and I came out here, we traveled a path here this morning. I wonder if I go back there along that path and I see someone, will I, on my way, will I look the other way? Will I look at them? During my day, I'm going to be probably engaged in conversations with other people. And if someone's name is sort of come up and someone laughs, will I stop and will I speak truth into that place? And if I go past someone and I see that there's a need there, will I say, I think I'll pray about them? Or will I just jump out of my vehicle, or will I stop what I'm doing and will I get out and will I do something? I think in those common places, there's silence, but the silence is filled. It's filled with God speaking into those common places. This past week, a friend of mine, he sent me an Instagram posting by a young man named Jacob Slavin. And Jacob Slavin is a defenseman with the Carolina Hurricanes of the National Hockey League. And Jacob was responding to all the Instagram postings that are being made out there by people who are engaged in the protests and the racial things that are happening around our world today. And Jacob said, I can't post anything, and neither should I post anything. That maybe now is a time to listen to the command of God to love one another. Maybe that this is a time to lament. This is a time for tears. That this really isn't a time for words. I like what Jacob is saying there. Sometimes there just aren't any words. And I've experienced that over the last little while. Maybe it's COVID, maybe it's the things that I see happening with all of the protests around race over the last little bit, that somehow I just struggle with finding the words there. Maybe words are not important. Maybe it's lament, maybe it's tears, maybe it's silence. But I think in the silence, though, I think I hear God saying something. I believe I do. Be brave. Love your neighbor. Be compassionate. Feed my sheep. Be merciful. Press on towards the goal. However prayer looks for me, I believe what Paul says is, that Christ is in all things. Christ is before all things. All things happen through Jesus. And I believe that if Jesus is before all things, if Jesus is in all things, then Jesus is in me. Jesus hears my silence. And I'm okay with that. And I think I will be okay. And thank you for listening to me this morning. Have a great week.